So I was talking to my friend recently about potty talk in a relationship.
Yeah.
And I was telling her, like, that is something that I experienced with my ex that that I think is like the one of the one of the like top 5 things that I would not bring into a new relationship. Like, I understand that it's like a little bit inevitable
Yeah.
because it's like things are going into buttholes,
Yeah.
but like I don't want to fucking fart in front of my man. I
Yeah.
don't want to like be like, "Oh babe, I just took a massive dump." Like, I don't want to be like I don't know. I think that that is a boundary that I'm going to at least try to implement in whatever relationship I ever have ever again in the future,
Mm-hmm.
because I think that you need to keep like the sex appeal alive. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I know
Yeah.
that there's like a bunch of girls who like their boyfriends don't think that they have buttholes and like shit like that, and
Yeah.
like they don't go number 2 and whatever. And that's like a little extreme, but I just don't want to. I just don't. I'm just gonna try.
Right.
I'm just gonna try because I want to keep like the sex appeal there.
I have a different take on this. And that is that, like, okay, I, as a girl who's like always, like, because of societal conditioning and like whatever, you're like, you don't talk about that stuff, it's not addressed. And one thing my therapist and I used to talk about a lot is that, like, because I had to grow up so fast, blah, 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 blah. Like, I never really like developed the ability to like be fun and playful and
Mm-hmm.
like be immature or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a little too serious all the fucking time, which is like exhausting. And like, it would be nice to just be a fucking idiot sometimes, but I have a hard time letting myself go there. And so, with that being said, like, I never really like indulged in that in relationships. I would never let it get that far,
Yeah.
regardless of how serious the relationship was.
Well, did you ever
And
indulge in like that kind of potty talk as a child?
well, like, I grew up with sisters, and like I would be in the bathroom, and like one of them would come in and like go pee, but then be like, "Oh, I have to poop," and then it's like, "Oh, like fuck," and then they're like, "No, please stay in, like, and please stay in the bathroom. I want to talk to somebody." Like wanting to like have presence while you're like literally just sitting on the toilet with nothing to do. And so like I grew up kind of okay and like comfortable with that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff, but never like brought that into relationships. And then in my last relationship, like, this was something I really appreciated about the relationship, because he was like so carefree and like goofy and funny and playful that he allowed me to be that way as well. And he was the first boyfriend I've ever had in my whole fucking life where like I would be able to say like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and like take a shit quick, and like we would be on FaceTime, and like he would, so disgusting, and I'm so embarrassed to even say this. Like, we'd be on FaceTime and all of a sudden he'd take the phone and hold it up to his ass and like fart into the phone.
Okay, that's
That
disgusting.
kind of thing. And for me that was really fun because I've never been able to like just be that way
And you're like,
with
and I can't smell it through the phone, so it's
so it's
funny.
like I don't
Yeah.
care. And it's not even funny, like, because it's not funny, because that's like literally like fifth grade level humor. It's just like experiencing that comfort level and that safety with somebody, and knowing that like you're still going to want to fuck me after this. And I've struggled with that since dating, since that relationship, because it's like this is the reason why I like to be friends with somebody before I date them,
Makes
because
sense.
I want to be like
Comfortable.
comfortable enough to be fully, truly, and honestly myself with them before entering like a romantic relationship with them. And so I've not experienced, like, even me and like my friends with benefits, like we're at a point now where we're like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and then we turn on the shower and it's like, okay, he's
Yeah,
taking a
we
fucking
know it. We
shit.
know
Like,
what's
we know
going
what's
on.
happening. And so like there's that
That's
level of
why that's why I say
acknowledgement.
it's like a little bit of unavoidable, a little
Yeah.
bit unavoidable.
Yeah. But like I prefer it when it's like a little bit more out in the open, and then you can just like, you don't have to feel embarrassed about it. Like, you don't have to try and hide it. Like, you can just
Yeah.
like be yourself. Don't go in there, it fucking smells. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't
I
know.
mean, I don't know who the fuck I'm kidding. I'm never going to be able to like be that type of bitch in a relationship ever.
What type of bitch?
To be like, I don't poop.
Right.
No, like, girl, you're going to know. You're going to know one way or another. So fuck it. I take it back already. God damn it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you literally said to me before we started recording, you were like,
Shh. Hi guys. Welcome back to Hot and Bothered. My name is Chris Bruno.
I'm Cedar Champ.
And on this podcast, we talk about everything that we find hot as fuck.
And how big our shits are. Just kidding. I hate that. And everything that bothers the shit out of us.
We have no credentials.
Minimal life experience.
And don't take anything that we say too seriously.
Slay.
Slay.
Slay. I want to talk about the fact that we have this summer so far, and it's only sometime in June. But also, I feel like
We have what?
I'm getting there. Summer in LA starts much later than summer everywhere else.
Okay,
because,
I'm going to cut you off already.
Okay.
I was telling like my dad this when I was home last weekend. And he was like, I was like, Dad, summer, like the weather of summer starts like the end of August to the end of October.
Yeah.
Like fall starts November 1st.
Yeah.
And then it's we need to adjust like how we visualize the calendar and seasons. Like we need to move it back 3 months.
Right.
At least here.
And that applies to us here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, okay, I was doing my like fake influencer thing earlier today, and I was on Instagram Live with that guy who's in New York, and he's like, oh, it's 90 degrees here today.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, the high today was like 72 and I'm in fucking California. How does that make sense?
Yeah.
But like summer in LA actually doesn't start at least until like mid-July. Like it doesn't
Correct.
count up until that point. And anyway, so what I wanted to say basically is that we're very early on in the summer in LA, and we have such good fucking summer music coming to us,
We
like
have
literally
really good bangers.
being
The bangers are
delivered
being
to us on platforms
delivered.
like platforms, platters,
and platforms.
and
They're being
platform-
delivered on
all
the
the
platforms.
platforms. And it's actually just like a really beautiful thing. Like, okay, Charlie XCX and her new
Go
album,
off.
like so good. Okay, and you told me just now that you haven't listened to it yet.
No, I did.
Oh.
I like 365.
Well, yeah.
Is that old?
Yes. No.
What's the new one?
360 was like, but 365 is like a remix of that.
Yes.
However, there are a handful of other songs on that album that are like so.
Okay, the thing is, yes, it's good. We're gonna get there. I'm so mental that like I've probably listened to this album 3 times
and haven't
already,
paid attention
and I
to
just
it.
don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm just not paying attention. But I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, I love it. And then
Yeah.
like in 6 months, I'll
Be
like
listening to it on repeat.
I'm already listening to it on repeat. Like, but I'm not registering the names and the songs.
Okay, that's one thing I'm really bad at. But before I go there, I want to wrap up this thought. This album, there are a handful of songs on it that I'm like, oh, this is so fucking like 2010, like Kesha adjacent. Like,
Mhm.
I'm obsessed with the fact that we're like indulging in this like style
Like
of
we're
music
leaning
again.
into like the brain dead pop.
Yes, and as we should.
Yeah.
Like that is what pop music needs
Yeah.
to be. And I'm fucking loving that. But also like I'm really bad with music in the sense that like when like an oldies song comes on, I will sing every lyric to it.
But I don't know who sings it.
Do I know who sings it? Do I even know the name
No.
of the song? No, not at all. Not ever.
That's exactly
and
how
I hate it
am.
when people are like, have you ever had this happen? This happens to me a lot, and it's kind of annoying and disgusting. But like, have you ever had it happen where like someone's like, oh, if you guess the name of this song or if you guess the artist of this song, I'll give you $2 or something like that.
No, I don't
Like-
hang out with dorks.
Okay, yeah. So one of my managers at the restaurant and like one of my ex-boyfriends used to do this to me all the time, and I'm like, I will sing to you literally every single fucking lyric
But
of
I
this
don't. I couldn't
song.
tell you who sings it. I don't know if it's Lionel Richie or fucking who else is out
Like,
there.
do you
I don't
think
even
that that's
know.
like my brain is so small and can only retain so much information? Do you really think that that is information that my brain decides to retain? No.
People do that with me with like TikToks too. They're like, "Oh my God, have you seen this
Me.
This talk? Have you seen this TikTok? Oh my God, did you see that?" And I'm like, I probably saw it, but
Don't remember.
and I'm either so overly stimulated or so understimulated that it's not like I'm not. I leave in my brain. I leave room for like digesting information to like a very slim
Yeah.
category.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't have room for the rest.
Yeah.
It's just all blank space,
And as it should be. Like,
right?
why do we need to fill that space? Like, can we just leave that empty?
Well, I guess it's like stuff about like culture and things that make us happy and things that make us feel good. Um, we'll get there one day.
One day.
What other bangers are we into right now?
Well, SG and Tovlo.
Slay got kicked out of that concert. Slay grabbed by my neck, got threw out
Slay.
in the back. I was like, okay.
That is so actually kind of iconic.
Yeah, it was a
And
fucking
actually
joke.
really suiting for like the summer that we're trying to have.
It was like full blown out of like a fully out of a movie. I was like, I actually like need to go get to my table, and everyone was bullying me that worked at Heart, which is a gay club in WeHo, and I was like, oh, like I need to go over there to my friend's table, and they're throwing me in every which way. I end up going back upstairs because I'm like, fuck these idiots that don't know how to tell me to go, whatever. So go back upstairs, go down some random hallway. Then this fat guy kicks me out, literally grabs me by the collar, kicks open the back door, and throws me into the alley. Then like 20 seconds later,
What did you describe it as earlier?
he looked like the fat gay dad from Modern Family.
Not that.
What?
When you got kicked out in the alley.
Oh.
You were like, this was literally a scene.
No, it felt like there has to be a scene in like Sex in the City or something where someone gets like, I felt like I like got, I mean, I've been in the back of this alley more times than I would like to admit, but like the way that I like got kicked out of this club, and then I was just like standing in like a puddle of homeless piss, and I was like with like there was like an old lady like getting cans, like waiting for the like bartender to bring her like the used beer cans, and I was just like, this is so fucking humiliating. And then the fat guy comes back out with his 3 other little managers, and he's like, don't let him back in. And I was like, fuck you. And guess what I did? I got back in, and they gave me, I walked back in, and he comes up to me. He's like, I'm so sorry about that. And then they give me my fucking wristband and take me back to the table. And I was like, you just threw me out, humiliated me, wasted 20 minutes of my life, all to do what I was trying to do. I was just like, people are weird.
Yeah.
People are weird.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even that drunk. I literally wasn't even that drunk. Like, honestly, I was like fine.
Honestly,
But that concert was really good.
that is
It
kind of a
slayed.
sleigh.
Yeah.
But like that's kind of a sleigh.
I was like in the back. I was literally in this alley, and I was like, fuck this. Like, fuck this. I'm too old for this. And then I was like, I'm the only gay person out of like everybody that I came here with. And I was like, I need to fucking show up. I was like, I can't let this defeat me. And so God was there with me.
You were doing a community service. You were representing the gay community, and you were doing everybody a favor.
Yes. I was signing autographs. It was
You are
amazing.
such a warrior, such a martyr.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your services to the
Anytime.
LGBT. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's kind of a sleigh, actually. I feel
fun.
like okay. And this is just because I've been obviously listening to Charlie XCX on repeat, but she has this one song that I've been listening to, and it's called Mean Girls. And
So good.
You know which one I'm
So
talking.
good.
It's so
Wait, I love Mean
good.
Girls, and what is it, 360
Guess.
that I
Oh.
like? What's the other one?
I don't know. There's a couple that I like.
I like the one that's not
Spring
the remix.
Breakers.
That one's good too. Wait, do I know this whole album?
Yeah, I think so. I think you might.
I'm like, maybe I'm thinking of something else.
It's buried back there in your subconscious.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Mean Girls is good.
it's really good, but like it's just messy and it's trashy, but it's also like hot and cool
And
like
catchy.
obsessed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also, did you see?
Yeah. What if I talk like a straight man? We would have no followers.
We wouldn't even have a podcast. We would never be here. Did you see the thing about Justin Timberlake getting arrested for?
Oh my God, I did see that. Oh my God, look at us, like Daily Pop, like
No,
E! News,
literally.
like, oh my God, Charlie XCX, Justin Timberlake. Um,
Those are also like monumental pop culture moments. Always.
mhm.
Like, let's think about Lindsay Lohan and when she got arrested.
Which time?
All of them. Justin Bieber and his DUI, like
So
all of
good.
them. And I'm just like, obviously it's bad. And I'm like, not trying to say we should do it, but like,
But
it's
like it's
like
kind of
so
funny
good.
to like glorify with those
Messy
types of
celebrity
people.
culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially because he's been like pretty, like,
He's been like a good boy.
he's
He
been
like
like
has a
straight laced.
persona.
Like,
He's
yeah.
probably like shivering, crying in bed right
Oh, I'm
now.
sure. But also, the only thing he's done
Is he still
wrong
with
over
Jessica
like,
Biel or whatever her name is?
yes, and the only thing he's
I've
done
always thought
wrong
she was really
over
pretty.
she is over recent years is like there was the rumors he was cheating on her, but outside of that, like he's been like a good boy.
Mm-hmm. That's so random. That's crazy. I would never ever do that ever.
Mm-mm.
Fuck that.
Have you ever gone out and like gotten really fucked up and like you go to like leave to do your duties the next morning, whether you're like going to work or
And you're like,
whatever?
fuck, I don't have my car.
Yeah, and you like
Yeah.
are like going outside to your
Yeah.
car and you're like, my car actually isn't even fucking
Mm-hmm.
here
Mm-hmm. I do that.
regularly.
Well, sometimes I like park my car at my office, which is like 3 blocks away.
Yeah.
And then like I'll wake up on like a Saturday or Friday morning because I'll like go out to dinner and then I'll
Yeah.
like go out somewhere after or whatever. And then I'm like, what the fuck? Like I'm so fucking turned around and it's the most inconvenient thing possibly in the world, even though it's like a 6 minute walk.
Yeah.
So
And it's even worse when like it's too far that you have to like call an Uber.
that's the worst
Like
thing.
being
But
hungover and having
I'm
shit to do and Ubering to your car is like a nightmare
okay,
experience.
actually, so if anyone knows me, they know that like I would rather literally chop off my arms and my legs than get into an Uber. Like I don't care if I'm in like a fucking Escalade or a Prius. Like I do not want to be in the back of someone because they don't know how to drive. They don't
Mm-hmm.
know where they're going.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to smell like BO and I'm sorry, the fucking Uber is going to smell like BO. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to smell like BO. I'm going to feel like I smell like BO from the Uber driver while I'm at dinner after I just got out of the shower and did
Mm-hmm.
full glam, and I'm gonna feel like I have BO all over my body.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna feel like I have to take a shower after getting out of that Uber, and it's just like not an enjoyable. I do Uber, so I have no choice a lot of the time. But like, there are certain instances where I would rather like drive to wherever I'm going and
Mm-hmm.
like leave my car there and go get it in the morning rather than take a fucking Uber
Yeah.
somewhere because I know it's gonna like kill my vibe of going out.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I also suffer from severe car sickness, which
Mm,
honestly is usually very heavily dependent on the smell of the car.
thousand
Like
percent.
there's new car smell, there's like normal car smell, but then there's like car smell where multiple people have pissed in the car and someone was chain smoking cigarettes with the windows rolled up and then you tried to like cover the smell with like the little tree air fresheners. Like
And
there's
like an Ozium spray.
yeah, there's that smell. And like I have had like multiple experiences where I've had to take an Uber somewhere while I'm like going out. And then by the time I get there, I'm so physically ill already that like I don't even want to drink and don't enjoy drinking because I'm already feeling so sick that it's like nothing can kill my vibe quicker than like a bad smelling Uber. It's a nightmare experience.
I will try to avoid that at all costs.
Yeah.
Like I cannot. It's also something else about me that I'm sure you guys already know. Is the like BO is like something that I don't do.
No.
Like it's just something that I do not understand. Personally, the one thing that Jesus Christ and God gave me, our Lord and Saviors, was I don't have BO. Like I never have BO. I've never had BO. Only my right armpit sweats.
Mine
Like
too.
it literally drips like a waterfall, but that's only
Not that.
randomly sometimes. Like
Mm-hmm.
randomly. But like this armpit doesn't sweat, but I never have BO.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm also like, if I had BO, I would be hyper aware of putting on deodorant and not smelling like BO
Yeah.
because who wants to smell that?
Yeah.
I don't. When I was in Dubai, every fucking driver It was like they literally bathed in red onions. It
That's
was
really
so
bad.
bad. It was
That's
so
really
bad.
bad.
Like it would be like holding your breath. And then they'd have the AC blasting and it's just like blowing in your face.
No.
Yes.
No. I've also been really lucky with that where I don't really get BO. Only sometimes my right armpit will smell, and I don't even really need to wear deodorant anymore because of that. And it's like if I shower once a day, then it's not a
I always
problem.
forget to put on deodorant.
Yeah.
I like to put it on because it makes like it smells good and it makes me smell good.
Yeah. I stopped wearing it because everyone realized like deodorant's bad for you. And then I realized, oh, why am I wearing this? I actually don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
But BO is bad, and what was I gonna say? Deodorant and
BO is bad on deodorant and
sometimes if I go too long in between shaving my armpits, I'll start to get BO, and then I just shave my armpits and then I'm fine.
you just shave off the BO skin.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So this one time I went to this concert. I was 16 years old. It was the day after I lost my virginity.
Okay.
And I remember, okay, because I went out this one night, I hooked up with this guy, lost my virginity. He drove me home the next morning. And like, because I grew up on a farm, our driveway is like a quarter mile long
Yeah.
and grass grows on each side of the driveway, obviously from Minnesota, whatever. And so we would sometimes close our gate at the bottom of the driveway and then let the cows out so they would graze on the grass so we didn't have to like mow it or anything. And so the gate was closed because the cows were out. And so instead of like him driving me up to my house, I had to have him let me out at the end of the driveway. And then I had to walk up my driveway and get ready, immediately start getting ready because my sisters and I were like driving like 2 hours to go to this concert. So I get ready for this
And
concert.
you walk in, they're like, "Yeah, bitch, you lost your virginity."
I had already texted them and was like, I just lost my virginity. Literally in the group chat with my sisters, all three of them. Anyway, that was night of, and then the next morning. Anyway, so everyone's just like, hey, and I was like, hey,
You're like, "I'm one of you now."
I'm a brand new woman.
Yeah, you're like, "I
So
am a woman."
yeah, I became a woman. So we start getting ready for this concert. I put on like the cutest outfit that a 16-year-old from the Midwest could ever possibly put on. Like these like cute pink shorts, like a little top, whatever. We're driving to this concert, and first of all, my sister is like mixing a drink in the back seat next to me, and something happens. She literally spilled her entire drink on my lap, and I was like, great. So then I'm like at this concert, like was trying to feel cute. I had like literally stained pants, and then we're like dancing in the crowd, and I think it was my right arm or maybe whatever. I lift one of my arms, and all of a sudden I was like, oh no, I only put deodorant in one of my armpits. I forgot to do the other armpit. So then like the whole night, like naturally I
You're like dancing, like,
yes, like naturally I always like my right arm is the arm that does things. And so like I
and
kept like
sweats.
trying and sweats. And so I kept trying to like lift my right arm, and then I have to be like, oh fuck, like that is not good. So I put my arm back down, and then I have to use my left arm. And it was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. It was a really great time actually, but like I'm wearing like stained pants. My right armpit smells actually
Just an
horrible.
average day in the life of a 16-year-old girl in Minnesota who's not a virgin.
Exactly. And also it was July, like
2,000 degrees.
Midwest summer. It was like humid and hot as fuck. Just like the worst circumstances possible. So I'm a little traumatized from that experience, but I finally reached a point where I don't have to wear deodorant. So that's a slay. Anyway,
Slay.
thank you for listening to my childhood trauma. Are you hot or are you bothered this week?
I'm bothered this week.
Okay,
You
what
know,
are we
I'm
bothered
actually
about?
really bothered.
Mhm.
You just texted me.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck's texting me? I'm bothered this week because I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I don't necessarily think that this is like a sleigh.
Beep beep bitch.
But I have recently been doing visiting home a lot where I'm from, and like running into a lot of people that I haven't seen in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Every single fucking person, like without a doubt, like random people that I went to high school with, like their moms, like this is actually the majority of all these people,
Mm-hmm.
like random people's moms, or like,
So it's like
or
older millennials or like Gen whatever they
whatever's
are,
above us,
where like they just
boomers.
have no social
You know
awareness.
what? Actually, it's also like it's everyone too. It's people my age as well.
Okay.
Um, just people that I haven't seen in a long time, and it's all the first thing that they say. The first thing that they say is, "Oh my God, you're so skinny," and I'm like, okay, how do you expect me to respond to that?
What am
How
I supposed to
how do
say?
you want me to respond to that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to say, yeah, the last time I saw you, I was 17 and fucking fat with an afro, and now I have somewhat of an eating disorder, and I live in Los Angeles, and I like, what do you want me to say?
Yeah.
I'm like, do you know what Moonjaro is?
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's rude. Like, how do you politely how do you politely move forward from that?
Yeah.
Like, thank you. Like, because the tone of it isn't even like, it doesn't matter what the tone is.
Right.
Because you could say that in like a nice tone and it can be insulting, or you could say that like in an insulting tone and be like jealous of that person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I'm sorry that I take care of myself.
Right.
Like, I'm really not like anything to be concerned about. Like, I think
Yeah.
we can all agree like I'm a normal looking person. Not really, but like, I don't think it's that like alarming, and I also think that that's rude as fuck to tell someone that you have not seen in a very long time. Like, obviously people change. You want me to be like, yeah, you should get Botox, like you look a little bit
Yeah.
heavier. Like, what do you want me to say? Like,
Oh my God, you look so
do
wrinkly.
not comment on someone's physical appearance that you have not seen in 5, 4, 3, 2+ years. Like,
Yeah.
that's fucking rude.
Yeah. I feel like any commentary at all in terms of somebody's like overall physical appearance or weight or like whatever the case is just rude. Like and actually completely unnecessary. It's not always rude obviously because it can be like conveyed in a positive way, but it's just fully absolutely unnecessary.
It's really weird, and I'm like, keep that thought to yourself,
Yeah.
because that just makes it so awkward for me, because I'm like literally, if someone is listening, if anybody out there is listening to this, like, how the fuck do you respond to that?
Yeah.
And like the first time it happened, I was like like laughed it off, and then the second time I was like, okay, like, should I go eat a burger? Like, what the
Mhm.
fuck's going on? Like, I'm
Like, is
whatever.
it scary? Is it
Yeah, I'm
bad?
like, do I
Like,
have a
do I
problem?
look
Like, do
good?
I like
Or
I
like,
don't understand. Third, fourth, fifth time, I was just like, I'm so fucking over
so
this.
over it.
I'm like, okay, like, turn around. I don't care. Like, thank you. Bye.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's fucking rude.
Yeah.
I think that's rude.
Well, because it's like when somebody's like, you are so skinny, you're like, if you say thank you, then it kind of almost makes you sound vain.
No, that's weird. I'm like,
Like
I don't
saying
need,
thank you to
I
that
don't
is like a weird
need, I would
response.
not say thank you to that, because one, I don't know where, like, how, I don't know how to interpret what you're saying,
Yeah.
good or bad. And also, like, why would I thank you for you telling me that I look, but it's always the same verbatim. Oh my God, you're so skinny. Oh my God, you look so skinny. It's always like skinny, skinny, skinny. Like,
Yeah.
you are so, and I'm like, I'm not that skinny. Like, I'm not, we've all seen anorexic looking people. Like, I don't even, like, you can even see my Adam's apple. Like, I'm fine, you know? Like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, I eat, bitch.
Yeah. But that's also the thing is like sometimes it's like,
And I'm
okay.
not coming on here to like clear up some like eating disorder allegations. I'm simply like, I think it's fucking weird and rude to comment on someone's appearance immediately like
Yeah.
that.
Well, it's one thing when it's like a friend that you talk to regularly and you see
Yeah.
semi regularly, right? Like I say that to you. I'm like, "Oh my
Well,
God, you
yeah. And like when
skinny."
you have a skinny day, I'm like, okay, you look ano today.
No, exactly. And like that is like a normal thing, but we talk literally on a daily
Yeah.
basis. But like, okay, so I'm going to use an example. Um I have a I don't even know if I can say friend. I have an acquaintance who's a plus size influencer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's always like taken pride in like this is who she is and this is what she does and like whatever, and that's her thing. And I'm like, slay, like go off, be confident in yourself, I'm so happy for you. And I didn't see her for a long time, And then I saw her again and she had clearly lost weight, right? And I was like, oh my God, like you look so great. How are you doing? Whatever. But like never saying like, oh my God, you lost weight, or like, oh my God, you look so skinny, or like anything like that.
Yeah.
Because like that is like weird. And I'm
It's
also
like
like,
open ended and extremely uncomfortable.
yeah, and it's also like I don't know if like she clearly lost weight. I don't know if she was trying to lose weight or if like she like
Exactly.
preferred her previous weight, if it's like a
Yeah.
positive or a negative thing.
I
So
could be like,
I'm just not going to comment on it and instead just say like you look great. Like
yeah.
giving a generalized compliment that's not targeted to
I
like
was just gonna segue into saying exactly what you said, that like you should just, if you're gonna say something, like if you mean to call someone skinny in a good way, you
yeah,
should say like, oh my God, you look so good. You look, I also think saying, oh my God, you look so healthy is fucking
that's
weird.
also rude
That's fucking weird.
because was how unhealthy did I look
Like, oh my
before?
God, you look so healthy.
And then it's like, okay, do I either look skinnier or do I look fatter? Like, in
Yeah.
what way is healthy a
Yeah.
positive thing?
Yeah.
Like, what direction is this going? And like, I feel like it's also more severe for like, I don't know if you identify with this, but like
As a
for,
woman.
yes, but for somebody like me who like, I have genuinely severe body dysmorphia, I have no idea what my own body looks like.
What, I do not know what my body looks like, and the way that these people were looking at me was like, and talking to me was making me feel like I was about to keel over.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, I'm good.
I also had a phase like that where I was like, looking back on it now, I can acknowledge how skinny I was, but in the moment, I like felt normal, like
Mm-hmm.
morbidly obese, just like I normally do. And I always had people commenting how skinny I was. And then the only time it registered to me how actually skinny I was when my best friend that I've known since I was in literally fourth grade came to visit me and she was like, you are very skinny.
Like,
Like this
bitch, you
is
need
the
to eat.
skinniest I've ever seen you and it's like not normal.
Yeah.
And like that was the only time I've ever taken like those words to mean anything serious.
Yeah.
And so it's like first of all, you don't know me. Second of all, you don't know what happens in my life on a
Yeah,
day-to-day
like I
basis.
could be sick.
Yeah.
Like I could have an illness,
Yeah.
and like,
And then like back to the comment of like you look healthy. It's like, okay, I could have put on 10 pounds or I could have lost 10 pounds. Like what does
mm-hmm.
that mean?
I just think it's rude, quite frankly. And again, here I am giving a cotillion pointer,
Mhm.
but like I think that that is something that I think should be eliminated.
I completely agree.
Like if I can't stress it enough. Like if I haven't seen you in fucking 10 years and you're like, you look so skinny, I'm going to be like, fuck you. You look old.
Yeah. Fuck you, you're wrinkly.
Like,
Like,
fuck you.
yeah,
I'm bothered this week, girls.
super bothered.
Like that pisses me off.
There was something I wanted to say.
Like I don't even know if I should say it.
Say it.
Like I was literally at a wedding on the dance floor, and like I like ran into like my friend's mom that I haven't seen in literally 10 years. And like that's what she said to me.
Mhm.
And I was like, I'm trying to dance and have fun, and like I don't want to deal with you right now.
But the thing is also like, okay, so we've like created this like image kind of in our society. I'm not at all condoning eating disorders or anything of that nature, but we've like created this image in our society where like now you can't be too skinny even if that's normal for your body type, where it's like,
Mhm.
oh, you have an eating disorder, right?
Mhm.
So like if somebody comes up to you and they say you're so skinny, you can't say thank you in response to that,
Yeah.
because then it's like it's almost like you're
You're
saying, it's
promoting
like you're praising
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that kind of like
Yeah.
culture, like that idea or like whatever.
Yeah.
So then it is like, okay, what do I say in response to
Yeah.
that?
And I feel like there are certain people where I can like if you're not like if you no, because it's gonna piss me off either way. But like people that I know a little bit better, that I can like be like
Candid.
gay and candid with like that. Like I can be like, "Mhm, thank you. Like
Yeah.
I know, but I'm still annoyed by by the statement of you look so skinny. Also, like I don't really want to be like skinny as a guy.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be some juice head, but I don't want to be like,
That's also another thing that I always have treaded very lightly around. Like when I'm dating a guy that is like a skinny guy, like whenever there's been like an opportunity where like those words could come out of my mouth where I'd be like, yeah, well, like you're like a skinny dude or like whatever, which
Yeah.
like sounds like it's something that shouldn't come up, but it does more often than not. Like I avoid saying that because also like guys don't like to
Be
identify as
yeah.
skinny. So like for
People say
you
like
even more, that's
lean.
like,
Like someone said the other day, I don't know why the fuck everyone feels like they can just tell me what I look like.
yeah,
Um, so the other day someone was like, "Oh, like you're like really lean," and I was
okay.
like I'm not mad at it, but
That's like
like
less aggressive than saying you're so skinny.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm like I'm not muscular, so I'm not lean, babe.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah.
just like I'm skinny fat, skinny fat
Same.
girls for life.
Also, something similar to this came up the other day at the restaurant. This like guy walked in that was like a little obnoxious and like already kind of buzzed, and he was with his wife, and he said to me something like, "Oh my god, you have great eyes." And I was like, "Thank you." And then I was like walking them to their table as a host does, and he was like, "I'm sorry, actually, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Is that like not PC, or like is that like inappropriate for me to say that?" And I was like, I literally said to him, I was like, I think it's okay to compliment somebody as long as it has nothing to do with their body. You can compliment someone's eyes, you can compliment someone's hair, compliment someone's bone structure, but don't compliment their legs. Don't compliment like their figure.
Mm-hmm.
Like don't say that they're skinny, or don't say that they're like
Mm-hmm.
healthy, or don't compliment their body, but it's like if a guy were to walk in and say, "Oh, you have such a good figure," I'd be like, "That is a pedophile." Like,
Yeah.
but like if a guy were to walk in and say, "Wow, you
Yeah.
have fabulous bone structure," I'd be like, "Oh my god, Slay, thank you."
Yeah.
Like that's severely less
Yeah.
creepy. So like, and
I
I
just don't.
literally,
My rule of thumb kind of is like I only compliment like what people are wearing or like
mm,
something like that.
yeah,
I mean, I don't really compliment hair because I don't feel like that's something that like I notice
yeah,
as a man.
mm-hmm.
But
Shocking.
but like I give compliments where they're due, you know what I mean? But like I don't I always I'm like because I don't know how people are going to interpret that, you know? But
Mm,
like if you say, and it's not like personal or permanent, you know?
right.
I do compliment people's tattoos though, because that is something that,
But that's a thing too. Giving positive feedback or giving a compliment on something that is permanent is great.
yeah,
You can't say something negative about something that's permanent.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
but you can say you have a great, you like your eye color is great, or like your tattoos are lovely, or like
mm-hmm,
you can give a positive compliment on something that is permanent, but like unless it's like very clearly overtly positive,
mm-hmm.
then don't comment on it.
I also feel like I know so many people with like pretty eyes that like they're like, whenever I'm with them, people are complimenting their eyes and
Yeah.
they're like, thank you. And I'm like, how the fuck do you live your life like that, getting complimented 17 times a day? I would be like, okay, moving on. Like, I don't have patience. Like, I don't have time
Yeah.
for that. So
Yeah.
when I see someone that like has pretty eyes, I'm just like, you know, you have pretty eyes.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't,
need to tell
I'm
you
like,
that.
I'm not gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like, you know, I'm thinking it, but I'm gonna spare you the thank you. I'm gonna spare you the two
Yeah.
extra breaths of your day and
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
I'm doing you a favor. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need to say
I'm doing
thank
you a
you.
favor by not giving you a compliment.
Correct.
One thing I want to address that has happened a little bit lately that I'm confused about is like I've gotten the compliments of like, "Oh my god, your hair color is so gorgeous. Oh my god, I love your eye color." Whatever. But I've gotten a few people that have complimented me lately saying, "You have great coloring." And I'm like, "Can you be a little more specific?" Like,
Yeah,
what does that
I
mean?
think I think I know what it means.
What does it mean?
No, I think that what they mean is just like I feel like redheads with your complexion and colored hair are far and few between
Right.
in the general pool of redheads.
Right. And maybe also like eyebrow color, because I don't have like orange eyebrows. I have like blonde eyebrows.
Uh,
Does that make sense?
kind of. Okay, I've been looking at you for too long, so I don't think I
He's
want to
like,
do
you're
that
starting to turn
anymore.
ugly. I have to look away.
Okay, so moving on. Are you hot or are you bothered?
Oh my God. Okay. I'm hot this week,
Okay, go off.
and I'm choosing to be hot because, okay, I went on a date last week, and I knew very little about this guy beforehand, even though we actually had messaged a bunch, but I was like blacked out and like being an idiot. So like I don't like our conversation was actually so dumb. Like his Raya profile said he was traveling to Chicago, and I was like, "Oh my God, how is Chicago? Like how's the weather?" We had a full conversation. And then like a couple days later he messaged me and he was like, "Hey, like what are you doing tonight?" And I was like, "Oh my God, are you back from Chicago?" He's like, "No, I'm actually not going to Chicago until like 2 days from now or whatever." And I was like so drunk and like not paying attention that like his profile said traveling to Chicago from whatever dates, and it was
Don't you have to pay for that?
that's like with the premium profile or
Okay,
whatever.
that's embarrassing.
So that's like that was like
But you
much.
have to like plug that in. Okay.
So he was traveling to Chicago much farther in the future than like when I was messaging him being like, "How's the weather in Chicago?" Like
So
I
you look
was
like
like
an idiot.
I looked like such an idiot. I was like, "Hey, that is so fucking embarrassing."
And he's like, I don't care. This pretty stupid girl is talking to me.
Literally. So anyway, we go on this date, and so like all we had talked about was that he was in Chicago and then he wasn't in Chicago and whatever. We go on this date, and I was a little annoyed because he wasn't taking initiative to like find a restaurant or like whatever. So I was just like, I threw out a suggestion. We stuck with it. We went with it. Whatever. So we go on this date and we sit down, and it was like, oh, I was like, I'm not really hungry, but like, are you hungry? We can order something to like snack on, whatever. And he was like, yeah. Like I'm kind of hungry, and we're like looking at the menu, and he's like, okay, so actually I like don't want to talk about this. Actually, I don't want to talk about it at all, but I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm vegan. And I was like,
Check.
okay. Okay. And me being an open-minded individual, I'm like, okay, I don't care that you don't want to talk about this because I want to talk about it. Let's talk about it. I'm so curious. And basically, anyway, he goes on to say like he just has decided to like explore veganism because he tried it previously for like a short period of time. He felt really great, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So he's been like testing it out. He's been like on like a 45-day like trial run or something. So we're looking at his options to order from this restaurant because we're not at a vegan restaurant, given that I didn't know he was fucking vegan. And he can't fucking have anything there. Like there's nothing on the menu.
Like a
So
piece of bread.
we finally like scan the whole menu all the way down to like sides.
Yeah, it's like charred broccolini.
Yeah. So anyway, we're like talking through the menu, like figuring out like what he can and cannot order. And I'm like trying to throw out suggestions. I'm like, okay, well, there's this salad on the menu. The dressing's a vinaigrette, like no anchovies obviously involved. So like we're fine there. Just ask them to remove the cheese. Like I'm like throwing out options. And he's like, okay, like what looks good to you? And he was like, I feel like you should get like a hamachi or something. And I was like, oh, that sounds good. And then I was like, yeah, on that note, I was like kind of looking at the steak tartare. It looks good. It caught my eye. But I wasn't like trying to order the steak tartare because I knew he was obviously going to be the one paying. And I was just like, we were just talking. And he was like, I'm really intrigued by that actually, just because of the price point. I'm wondering if it's that good that it's worth the price. And then that was the end of that conversation. We continued moving on, trying to figure out what this fucking vegan can eat at this restaurant that is not a vegan restaurant. Yeah. So we go to order food, and he takes it upon himself to order for both of us, which I actually kind of liked. If there wasn't a prior discussion about the food and he tried to order for me, I'd be like the scene in White Chicks where
Yeah.
hold on,
Perhaps.
actually, yeah. So anyway. And then he goes ahead and he orders me the steak tartare. And I'm like, kind of a sleigh.
Yeah, like thanks, daddy.
No, exactly. So he also decides to like throw in a side of truffle fries. Because he's like, this is a gorgeous combination. Like it's basically like steak frites. Like perfect.
Can he eat truffle fries?
He can. Yeah. So our food gets there. He literally has a side of charred broccolini and then like some side of like roasted cauliflower or something.
And truffle
And
fries.
I'm shoveling my fucking mouth with this steak
Steak
tartare
tartare.
that I didn't even finish. And that was really hot of him to do that because, first of all, he was the one that acknowledged the steak tartare was expensive and then chose to order it for
To
me
not eat it.
to not eat it. And then, second of all, acknowledged that it looked good, knowing that he wasn't going to be able to eat it, but knew that he didn't want me to miss out on eating it, and then proceeded to order it for me. It was like, if I am ever going to date somebody with like dietary restrictions, that's the type of person that they need to be. However, I'm also a little bit bothered this week because it's like, and we've talked about this before, so I don't want to dive too far into this rabbit hole, but like sharing food with a significant other is like kind of an important part of a relationship for somebody who's morbidly obese like me. And so it's like I'm eating this like gorgeous steak tartare that was not at all worth the price, by the way. The only reason it was expensive is because it had like fucking shaved truffle on the top, which like sometimes with shaved truffle, I feel like you can't even really taste it. Like,
I like don't like truffle.
hot take. I do like truffle.
I do, but I'm like don't have a boner for it.
Yeah.
Like I'm like
I kind of feel like all the flavor is in like a truffle oil. Like I don't think like the
yes,
actual truffle is like
flavorful.
ever really
Also,
giving
they're
any
like ugly
flavor.
to look at
They're
sometimes.
really ugly to look at, and don't they grow in like cow shit?
Yeah, it's like a fungus, isn't it? Like a full whatever. I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
Well, they're a mushroom, so they're a
Yeah,
fungus. But yeah. Anyway,
I just feel like the
um,
hype of it. It's like get over it.
I'm not aligned with you on that one because I think truffle is phenomenal. I love it. I think it's really good. I just think it needs to be executed correctly. Like I don't want to pay an extra
$50
$150 for the
or
steak
that.
just because it has shaved truffle on it versus one that is just normal when that truffle isn't even going to taste anything like
Mm-hmm.
truffle. Like give me douse it in truffle oil, which is $100 cheaper, and then we'll call it a
And
day.
better.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, so dietary restrictions in a relationship and veganism, I just don't know.
If
Like,
there's a world in which you could do that.
yeah, and I always say like I'm an accidental vegetarian. That's like my term because I don't ever like seek out meat. I have a freezer full of meat that I've stolen from my dad's house that like remains untouched because I don't eat it that often. And I like it on occasion, but I'm never like going out of my way for it. And I just like but I just don't know if I could date somebody with like that severe of a dietary restriction. Like even once upon a time a few months ago, I tried to date a guy that was a pescatarian, and even then it was like we're like picking out pastas to order at the restaurant we're at, and he can't have this pasta that I think looks really good because it has sausage in it. And
Yeah.
it's like where is the fun in that?
I've never had an experience of dating a vegan or a vegetarian. But I have experience, which I think is probably 150,000 times worse than what you're talking about. Like someone who only eats like chicken nuggets or like a hamburger, not even a cheeseburger with ketchup. Like I think we all know people like that and we love them dearly, but like to date someone like that is such a fucking turn off. Like I'm like I get angry. I get angry. I'm like this food is so fucking good. Like you
Develop a palate.
like not even develop a palate, like shut up. Like you're fucking dumb because you're missing out on how good this food is. You
Yeah, and you
don't
don't even know.
understand.
Like you don't
Like it's
understand.
frustrating. I'm like why would you not want like grilled onions and a tomato and lettuce and everything else you can put on your fucking
Yeah.
burger?
Yeah.
Cheese? Like are you
Mhm.
fucking kidding me?
Mhm.
Like no. Like that like what?
Yeah.
Why would you not want that? That's insanity to me.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened to you?
I have a coined phrase that I literally refer to as the chicken nugget diet. And I have a sister who has a boyfriend, and he's the type of person that, like, would be the type of person that would have a chicken nugget diet, but he actually isn't. But anyway, so when they first started dating, one time we were all ordering food together, and he was like, "Oh, like this sounds good," and it was some sort of like kids menu item. It was like fucking mac and cheese or like chicken fingers or like
Mm-hmm.
something like that. And I always bully him because I'm like, oh yeah, sorry, you probably don't want to eat this because like you participate in like the chicken nugget diet or whatever. Like you are the chicken nugget diet, whatever. Anyway, so I literally have this coin phrase that I refer to as the chicken nugget diet, and is that type of person that like goes out to a restaurant and it's like probably like a
Oh, like
great
we'll do a
restaurant.
margarita pizza and like what else? I don't even know. Like a Caesar salad. Like, bitch.
Yeah, where
How
it's
many of
like,
those have we had before in our
or
lives?
God forbid it is the restaurant that's like a good restaurant, and then they literally order the chicken strips on the menu. Like, okay, live a little. There is a time and a place. There's a time and a place for that type of
I
activity.
will
And don't
order
get me
chicken
wrong,
strips with like my entree, like as like an
that's an
appetizer.
appetite.
Yeah.
That's like a side. That's like a little snack.
That's a
That's an
little
hors
nibble, nibble,
d'oeuvre. Like,
nibble.
yes, exactly. That is not a main. And I like people that eat like that. I'm like, get so far away from me. Our palate is more developed than that. Our palate is more complex than that. Like, we are eating the pear salad that has gorgonzola on it.
Fuck
Like,
yeah, we are. And
we
candied walnuts
exactly
and all
like,
the goodies.
let's mix some flavors. We don't just want fried chicken and ketchup. Like, no. Like, the chicken nugget diet, there could be nothing less attractive in a partner or a significant other, or like whatever the fuck you're doing, whoever you're sharing food with. If you indulge in that type of diet and the only thing you can eat when you order
Don't
out,
date us.
yeah, that
Don't think
too.
about it.
That too.
Don't think about it.
That too.
Now
But
I'm hungry.
okay, what are we ordering?
Chicken
Chicken
nuggets.
nuggets. Anyway, no. So first of all, don't be a vegan, and second of all, don't be the type of person that has a chicken nugget diet. Like, develop a
I just
palate.
personally could never
Live a little. Enjoy the flavors of life.
get
Like,
like go eat an onion, go bite into an onion. You know what I used to get mad about?
what?
Like vanilla ice cream is like a problematic topic, but sometimes like vanilla ice cream just fucking hits so hard.
Absolutely.
Like it hits so hard.
But
But
that's
I
also
do feel
like,
like vanilla ice cream is like you're not gonna go to like Jenny's and get like vanilla ice
no,
cream.
exactly. Like,
But
time and place.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna go into the freezer at 11:30 and have two big spoonfuls of vanilla ice cream to
Mm-hmm.
put myself to bed,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not gonna go
But I'm not
order
going to
it.
Cold Stone and ordering the vanilla bean.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So bitches, learn how to eat.
Learn how to eat. Develop a palate.
Develop a palate, but also don't call someone skinny.
Before we give homework, before we assign homework, before we wrap this up, I want to say, buy our t-shirt
Immediately.
immediately. Wear our faces on your back every day of your life, whether you're going to the grocery store, whether you're going to the gym, whether
Whether you're going
you're
to your grandma's house.
going on a date and ordering chicken nuggets, wear our t-shirt. Um, love that. You only have like 10 days left to order it or something. So get after it. And then also, follow us on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, Hot and Bothered the Pod. Make sure you follow us on wherever else, and then give us 5 stars, whatever. Anyway, homework. Chris, what are they doing this week?
Don't call someone skinny.
Call someone fat, actually. If you feel it necessary to go out of
Just
your way,
throw it back.
if you feel it necessary to go out of
Fight
your way to
someone.
comment on somebody's weight, then fully be prepared for them to say, okay, you fat bitch.
No, yeah. Don't maybe not call someone fat, but just verbally assault them in some other fashion that they
Yeah.
aren't expecting.
Especially if they comment on your weight.
Yeah. Oh my God,
Yeah.
my bulge right now, you guys.
Oh.
I'm giving you a show at the end.
You're welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna close my legs. What else? Go on a date with a vegan. Call someone skinny.
Order chicken nuggets at a
Listen to
5-star
Charlie
restaurant.
XCX.
Ask the Michelin chef if he can hand make you chicken nuggets.
I would.
And
That's actually something I would do.
no, 1000%.
Get kicked out of a
You're
club.
literally a Karen. And
Get kicked out of a club. Get a
listen to Charlie
DUI.
XCX, like
Or a
Chris said.
DWI, as they call it in New York.
DWI. They call them that in the Midwest as well.
A DWI.
Love that.
Driving while intoxicated. It makes more sense.
Drink and drive. We've talked about drinking and driving like 3 times, like in 3 separate episodes on this
Well,
podcast.
it's such a
And
big part of our lives,
people
apparently.
are really going to think that we have a problem.
Well, no, I don't Uber, but I don't drink and drive.
I don't Uber, but I do drink and drive. I'm just kidding. I've never done that in my life. Okay. Do everything we said to do. We love you. And
We love you
have a
guys.
blessed rest of your week.
Bye, dolls.
Adore you. Mwah, mwah.